Hey, it's Tony from Tony's Cabin. Sammy the Wonder Dog's behind me, keeping an eye on the riffraff. um, Yesterday I kept seeing all these bees coming in my house, so I had my vacuum out. That's how I combat lots of flies, bees, stuff like that. I get my vacuum, and it's quite easier than trying to hit them with a fly swatter missing. Yeah, so I was getting a bunch of them. My daughter calls me. She always calls me on her way home. And I told her about it. I said, I looked around in the house. I couldn't find any place that they're coming in. And so she stopped over on her way home from work, and she walked around the outside of the house. Well, she seen where they were going in. They were going in between the logs by my one window. So she says, you got any spray or anything like that? And I said, I got WD-40. So that's what we used. She used a whole can on it. And it was quite sized hole. It was about the size of your finger, your little finger. And then she said, well, you got a rag or something to stuff it in there, and keep the bugs out of the going in. So I gave her a handkerchief and took her, have her put it in there. Well, she wasn't tall enough to get it in there. So she calls across the street, to the kid that does my plowing, and he come over because he's taller than us. She wasn't tall enough. I wasn't tall enough to put the rag in the hole. So he came over and he's putting the rag in the hole, and he said, well, do you guys got any great stuff? And I'm going, I probably do. I usually got everything, a little bit of everything, but, a lot of useless stuff, but comes in useful sometime. Well, I had a can of that. Unfortunately, when you use it, you have to use the whole thing up or throw it out because you can't reuse it. But anyway, he filled up the hole, and then he came in the house, and Jessie there's a little tiny hole on inside of the house, and that she's seen, and I'm thinking that's where they got in. So she filled that with it, and I don't care what the logs look like. I don't care how much foam's on the outside, inside. I don't care as long as I don't get no bugs in the house, because I don't like yellow jackets or what they were, bees or whatever. They acted like yellow jackets, but they were smaller. They were really fast. So I've only had like 3 or 4 scragglers I found today, which is good. So it's a blessing. I don't like them because I had them in my wall one year and it was horrible. And I kept stepping on them. It's a lot of fun. Your foot swells up. It hurts like hell. And the only thing I can suggest if you do get stung by any animal or, a bee or whatever, is squeeze the piss out of it, because the piss inside of it is what makes you swell. Stop, doo-doo. And so, yeah, it's a good suggestion. But anyway, I can't work on my one, the shawl I'm making, the rubies thing, because I ran out of yarn. So I ordered yarn. And it's been 2 weeks before it'll be coming Saturday, supposedly. And then I ordered sock yarn, and that's been in limbo in the mail place, wherever, for 3 weeks now. So I wrote them. It was through Etsy, and they're really good through Etsy. People, I don't have a problem with it. So hopefully I'll hear something from her today. Maybe she can find it in the mail or call the mail place and see what the heck's going on, or send me another replacement, because I don't want my money back. I want what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I want what I bought. But in the meantime, I got to make something different. I got to have something to do. I'm not going to sit here when I'm bored and not do nothing. I got to keep my hands busy. So I started making this. This one is Fiber Spider shows how to make it. I don't think it's his make, but it's if you see, it's got butterflies, or I don't know, butterflies or dragonflies. I don't know. I think they look more like a dragonfly. But yeah, so I started doing that yesterday, and then I got pretty far. It's pretty easy. It's a 3-row repeat, and it's just a little bit different on each row. So I just got my little cheat sheet written down, so I know what I got to do at the beginning and at the middle. So I know what I got to do per row. Then I can get it done, and I'll gotta look at the instructions every 2 seconds because it gets boring. But anyway, I was gonna go to the fair, and I figured I can't, because me walking is not a good thing, because it takes a lot out of my back, and I can't walk that far. You know, that's why you only see short videos with me, because I do as much as I possibly can. And then I go sit down, because that's what I have to do, or otherwise I can't get nothing done. And it's a ridiculous way to have to do anything, but that's my life, and that's how I have to do things, because there's no way that I'm going to get anything done if I sit down all the time, because that's the only relief I get for my back, because I got spinal stenosis. And I do have an inversion table, and I use that when it's really, really bad. But, you know, it just, I don't like not being able to do things, you know, and finish, you know, follow through and finish. So I really wanted to go to the fair, but it's not going to happen. I don't have a roller coaster or whatever, wheelchair or anything like that. Roller coaster. But I don't have one of them. I do have canes and stuff like that, but I where I want to go in the fair is pretty far walk, and there's no way I'm going to be able to do it, unfortunately, which, you know, I kind of miss it, and it's not cool. But I might go to yard sales this weekend. They have, in town, they have yard sales. I got to ask my daughter. They had tore up all the roads down there, so she says really bad. So hopefully they got it done by now, because she's got to go through that area to see if it's, you know, to go to her house. So hopefully they'll be done, because if not, I'm not taking my car down a shit road to mess up my suspension and all that stuff, because it's not going to happen. I can't afford to fix this stuff, you know what I mean? It's expensive. So it's not worth the yard sale, as far as I'm concerned. So hopefully it's done, so I can go and maybe get a couple deals on some yarn or something I might need. You know what I mean? I don't really need anything, but I like going to yard sales because they're interesting, and there are pretty cool stuff at some of them, and they're cheap, you know. I mean, some of them aren't. Some of them overprice their stuff. It's like, I could buy that from the store for the same price. Why would I want to buy it used? But the other ones are, you know, you can get a pair of shorts or a pair of jeans, and I don't need brand new. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, you know, as long as they're clean and they don't got holes in them, I'm good with that. So, but anyway, Sammy's been doing good. He hasn't had a fit in a while, but he doesn't have them often, and that's why the vet doesn't have him on medication, because if he had them more often, then she would give him medication. But why give him medication and he don't really need it? So, but if she said if it gets worse, and you know, let her know and bring him in, and he'll get medication for it. So I hope that day never comes. I don't want that. But anyway, this toy from Tony's Cabin. Sammy the Wonder Dog is sitting by the side door there. He wants to go out right now. He's being a pain. And I'm making mashed potatoes and fish sticks for supper. What a combination, right? I didn't want to have fried potatoes, so I had mashed potatoes, and I love mashed potatoes. All right, people, this is Tony from Tony's Cabin. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I want to thank everybody that subscribes and says hi, and my new subscribers, welcome, and I hope I keep you interested in what I have to say or do. If not, you know, that's okay. You know, I'm just on here to spend some time with people that are cool, and I think you guys are. So, have a great day. Night now.